Vin Diesel secretly walked into his own restaurant one night. No security team, no press, not even the staff knew he was coming. He didn't want applause. He didn't want recognition. He wanted the truth, because restaurants, they have two faces. The polished one customers see at their table, perfect smiles, hot plates of food, laughter bouncing off the walls. And the hidden one, behind swinging kitchen doors, in narrow hallways, in the quiet sobs of tired workers who hold the place together when nobody's watching. That night, Vin was about to see the second face. Los Angeles, Friday night. The place was packed. Couples leaning close over candlelight. Groups of friends clinking glasses. Servers weaving to the maze of tables with trays of sizzling steaks, cocktails, and desserts that looked like artwork. On the surface, everything was perfect, but Vin had spent years in this business. He knew numbers on paper didn't tell the full story. You couldn't measure morale on a spreadsheet. You couldn't see exploitation in a quarterly report. That's why he came here like this. Alone, hoodie pulled low, just another customer in the crowd. He had barely been inside 5 minutes when it happened. From a side hallway, half hidden near the kitchen, a sound caught his ear. At first it was faint, easy to miss beneath clinking silverware and laughter. But then he froze. A server, crying, not loud, not dramatic. The kind of crying you only let out when you're desperate to stay quiet. But can't anymore. Vin's heart tightened. He knew this wasn't exhaustion or stress. This was something heavier, something darker. He turned his head, eyes narrowing on the hallway, door cracked open just a sliver. Inside he saw her, a young woman in uniform, shoulders shaking, gripping the edge of a stainless steel counter as though it was the only thing keeping her upright. Another server whispered urgently to her, trying to calm her down. Vin stayed where he was, just watching, listening, and in that moment, the atmosphere of his own restaurant changed completely. The golden glow of candlelight suddenly felt like a mask. The laughter of diners sounded hollow, and standing across the floor, arms folded, scanning the room like he owned it all, was the manager, Rick Calloway. Sharp navy shirt, stern jawline, eyes that didn't just watch, eyes that controlled. Vin's gut told him instantly. This man was connected to the tears in that hallway. Vin slid onto a bar stool, his face calm but his mind racing. The bartender placed a glass of water in front of him. Vin gripped it hard. He wanted to walk straight over to that young server, ask what was wrong, protect her. But tonight, he wasn't Vin Diesel, Hollywood star. He wasn't even Vin Diesel, owner. He was just a stranger in the crowd. And strangers had to listen first. He tilted his head slightly, straining to hear. Words drifted from the hallway. You can't let him. He doesn't own you. What choice do I have? If I don't do what he says, I'm gone. The words hit Vin like a punch. This wasn't about a rude customer. This was about someone inside. He glanced back at Rick Calloway. The manager's arms were still folded. His eyes scanned the room like a predator circling prey. Too sharp, too controlling. Moments later, the young male server emerged from the hallway. His jaw clenched. His hands fidgeted as he adjusted the notepad tucked into his apron. Vin seized the moment. He stood casually, approached the server station. Hey man, you got a pen? The kid jumped slightly, startled. Yeah, sure. He handed one over. Vin read his name tag. Tyler. Thanks, Tyler, Vin said softly, then leaned in just slightly. I couldn't help but notice your friend back there. She doesn't look okay. Tyler froze. His grip on the plates tightened. She's fine, he said too quickly. Vin tilted his head. Calm. She doesn't look fine. Tyler's eyes darted toward Calloway, toward the floor, back to the plates. Finally, his shoulders slumped. She's not, he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. Vin's chest tightened. Is it a customer? Tyler hesitated. The silence was enough of an answer. Then, softly, no, and his eyes flicked toward Rick Calloway. The air shifted. Calloway was moving toward them, his polished shoes clicking against the floor. Everything okay here? Calloway's tone was polite but sharp. Tyler dropped his gaze instantly. Yes, sir. Just helping a customer. Vin turned, face calm. He finally looked at Calloway up close. Mid-40s. Too confident. Too smooth. The type of man who didn't just know his power. He enjoyed it. Vin smiled faintly. Just needed a pen. Tyler helped me out. Good, Calloway said. He clapped Tyler's shoulder just a little too firmly. Let's stay focused on work. As Calloway walked away, Vin's decision was made. He wasn't leaving tonight. Not until he got to the bottom of this. Outside, in the cool night air, Vin's mind raced. He needed more proof, more truth, and fate handed it to him. Nate, the bartender, stepped outside on break, scrolling his phone. Vin walked over casually. Long night. Nate looked up, startled, then relaxed. Yeah, Fridays are always nuts. Vin leaned against the wall. What's Calloway like as a manager? Nate's face shifted, quickly, almost imperceptibly. But Vin caught it. He's strict, likes things done a certain way. Strict? Vin pushed gently. Nate looked around, lowered his voice. He makes Emily stay late. Alone. Every time. And the way he talks to her, like she owes him something. It's not normal. Vin's fists tightened at his sides. He had seen this before. Predators hiding behind titles. Using power to trap people who couldn't walk away. She ever tell you what happens? Vin asked. Nate shook his head. She doesn't have to. We all see it. Vin nodded slowly. His chest burned with anger, but his voice stayed calm. Thanks, Nate. You're a good man. Inside, he knew what he had to do. Vin walked back inside. The crowd was thinning. The golden mask of the restaurant was slipping. He went straight to Emily. She stiffened when she saw him approach, fear flickering in her eyes. I know what's happening, Vin said softly. You're not alone. Her breath hitched. She shook her head, whispering, I can't. You can, Vin replied firmly, because he's not untouchable. A shadow loomed. Calloway, his voice smooth, edged. Is there a problem here? Vin finally turned to him fully. Actually, yes. We should talk. Calloway smirked. And who exactly are you? Vin pulled out his wallet, flipped it open. The credentials of ownership glinted under the lights. My name is Vin Diesel, and this is my restaurant. The room froze. Employees stared. Emily gasped. Calloway's face drained of color. You and I, Vin continued, voice calm but firm, need to have a conversation. Right now. Inside the office, Calloway tried to bluff. Tried to explain. Vin didn't let him. He pulled out his phone, played back the recording he had captured earlier. Emily's broken voice saying, If I don't do what he says, I'm gone. Calloway collapsed into his chair, pale. You've been playing this game for a long time, Vin said coldly. But it ends tonight. You'll never work in this industry again. He dialed corporate HR on the spot. Termination. Permanent. Effective immediately. When Vin walked back out, Emily and the others were waiting. Nervous. Unsure. He's gone, Vin said softly. You're safe now. Emily's shoulders sagged with relief. Tyler exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for a year. Nate's eyes widened in disbelief. But Vin wasn't finished. This isn't just about one bad manager, he told them. It's about a broken system. From today forward, this restaurant changes. And I need your help to do it. Silence. Then Emily spoke, voice trembling but strong. I don't want anyone else to go through what I did. Not here. Not anywhere. And they won't, Vin promised. Not as long as I'm here. That night, as the staff locked up and walked out lighter than they had in months, Vin sat in his car, watching, thinking. This had been one restaurant, one predator, one truth uncovered. But how many more Emilys were out there? Being a leader wasn't about money. It wasn't about numbers. It was about responsibility, about people. And Vin Diesel had just been reminded of why he fought so hard for both. If you ever felt trapped by someone abusing their power, know this. Silence protects them, not you. Speak up, because sometimes all it takes is one voice to break the cycle.